Hello everyone, today I'm going to be giving you a tour, an updated tour of our homeschool space. I am a homeschool mom of 5, and this right here is our formal living room that we converted into a homeschool room. So I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys all the new updates that I have for 2021-2022. So here we have a little gate to keep the littles in. And then I like putting a lot of posters on the wall that I'm using throughout the year. So this is backyard birds, and I like having posters that the children can use to identify local animals. So right here we have backyard birds, and they love watching the birds on the bird feeder and being able to identify them and track them. Over here we have a little desk, and we found this on Facebook Marketplace for like 15 bucks. And we use this for our one-on-one time. So I'll sit here on the couch while that one child that I'm working with is sitting here on the desk. And I rotate through each one of my children one-on-one on this desk. Over here is our circle time space. So the kids use it to read. We do our circle time in the morning. And it's just a cozy little spot to just hang out. On the wall, we have some the map of the world and the US map. Then over here, I have a bookshelf. And I don't have a lot of books because I get a lot of the books from the library. So let me share with you guys. So here I have our felt board for telling stories. And then the way that I have the bookshelf is by categories. So over here we have our toddler books. Over here we have our Spanish books. We have our fiction. Here we have our character books. Here we have our nonfiction section. We have a lot of nonfiction books. We get most of our fiction books from the library. Here we have another little extra basket of fiction books. So up on the wall, we have different things. So here we have our nature collection. So when we go on hikes in the backyard, the children love collecting things that they find in nature. So here are things that they have found. So for example, this is a little sparrow's nest that they found and they kept in here. Here we have some beehives. This is some Spanish moss from a Spanish moss tree that we got from Georgia, and the little acorns. It's just a little memory when we went to visit Georgia, and just like different rocks that they have found outside. Some of them look very unique. Like this one is a little rock that looks like a heart. And so they love collecting little things like that. Here's our little bird whistle for when we go outside. This we got found at the beach. These are our beach finds here. Over here, we found a little turtle shell outside, like a piece of a turtle shell. And they put it in here. So all the things that they find in nature, they will put it in here. And we have so many things. This is just some of the few things that I have displayed here on our shelf. Then we have a rock collection. This year, we really delved into studying rocks. And the kids collected a lot of rocks from outside. So all the rocks you see here, the kids found outside in nature, in the backyard, or they found on our nature hikes. And we were able to identify these rocks with an app that we have. So we have it on our iPad, and we'll identify the different rocks. Over here, we have another display box of all the other things. So we have our geodes in here. Let me open it up. A lot of different items that we have collected. This is a geode here. We have a few of those geodes that we've broken open that we found. A lot of different rocks and beautiful things that we have found. Some things have been gifts from friends, such as this beautiful conch. So beautiful. And these are some shells that we found at the ocean. So this is just our little display, nature display here that we really enjoy looking at. And I really recommend that you guys start a rock collection. I think it's such a neat hobby that my kids have started this year. And this is not even the bulk of our rocks. We have another huge container of rocks. These are just the ones that we display here in our homeschool room. And it has really been a great thing to collect rocks and just learn about rocks and minerals. All right, so another thing that we have here is our sponsored children. So we have a board of our sponsored children. We have 4 sponsored children, and each of my children have one. And so they get letters from these children. These are a mailbox from our sponsored kids. And we write to our sponsored kids for their birthdays, for Christmas. And we really enjoy reading their letters and learning about their culture, and learning about them. If you guys want to know more of the organization that we use for our sponsored children, I'll link it below in the description box. But here we have a little yarn that shows where on the map this child is located. And so it gives the children an idea of where these children are located. I want my children to also be able to connect with the pain and the suffering that is out there. I want them to know that we are privileged to live where we live, and that it is our duty as good citizens to always help out our fellow brothers and sisters. And I love this quote here. It's from the Bible, and it says, "For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison and you came to visit me. Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for the least of these, my brothers and sisters of mine, you did to me." And I love that quote. And so this is really neat to have this here. And we pray for our sponsor children. And we love reading their letters. So over here, next to the sponsored children, we have a poster for Fruits of the Spirit. And this is something that we are focusing on this year. And these are the 9 fruits of the Spirit. And so these are virtues such as love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. And so I made this poster, and I just used construction paper, used some letters from the dollar store. These are index cards that were folded in half. And then when they lift the flap, it tells them about the virtue. I wait with a smile, patience, joy. I choose to be happy even when things go wrong. And so it's a lot of love. I love my neighbor as I love myself. And just a lot of different things. Gentleness. I speak quietly, touch softly, and treat others tenderly. And so I'm able to focus on all of these qualities that I want my children to have. And so what I'm doing is every month I'm focusing on a different fruit of the Spirit, different virtue. And I'm going to be putting it here on this board. And so I have all of the different virtues here. They're laminated. They have Velcro on the back. And they're all here. And then I put it here on this board. Monthly fruit of the Spirit. So self-control, for example. And then it has some questions. What is the definition of this month's virtue? How can I practice this virtue? How can I lack to show this virtue? What is one experience I had this week with this virtue? What is a Bible verse that talks about this virtue? How can practicing this virtue change our world? And so this is going to be really helpful to go really studying all of the fruits of the Spirit. Every month, I'm going to be reading stories about the fruits of the Spirit. And I read stories from the Moral Compass and from the Book of Virtues. I always talk about these books because these are one of my 2 go-to books about stories for children that teach about character and morals. And so every month, I'll try to find stories in there that pertain to the virtue. And in the table of contents, it breaks it down by virtue, so it's very easy to find. Over here, I also have charts for each child to track their virtues. And so when I see them portray the virtue, I will give them a little star. And I'll tell them, I saw that, I noticed that you were patient with your sister, I'm going to give you a star. Or I noticed that you were peaceful even when there was a lot of trouble happening at that moment, I'm going to give you a star. So that the child can be motivated to want to portray more of these virtues in their daily living. And so here are the little stickers. Here's the little basket with the different virtues. And then over here is our morning basket of the things that we're reading this month. And so we have Benjamin Franklin, Boxcar Children, our devotional, Guide to Manners and Etiquette, If I Could Ask God Anything, and our Bible Made Easy for Kids. And I made a video of our family read alouds and all our family books, and I'll link that video below. Here we have some states flashcards, some famous paintings, and among other things. So that is our shelf here of our books and the things that are above the shelf. So now let's move on to this other little area right here. This is our preschool area. And so I have a little preschool shelf for my preschoolers. And I put on here activities that are invitation to play, an invitation to do things here. And so my 3-year-old loves coming over here and just grabbing things and bringing it to the table to work quietly on his things. He really looks forward to seeing what I have on the shelf every day. Sometimes I leave it for multiple days and he still loves to do it, and it's very, very exciting. If you want to see more about like my preschool shelf and how I rotate activities, how I do shelf work, and that's what I call it. I've been doing it for many years with my kids, and I have a lot of videos about shelf work. I'll link it below, and I could also make a video of our preschool curriculum that we're using this year and how we are doing preschool. But this is our little preschool area where I work with my 2 littles, and we do activities for both of them in this shelf, and it's really enjoyable. They really love looking forward to see what I have on the shelf for them. On the wall, I have other posters. Again, I want my children to be able to identify different animals in nature and insects and bugs. So I have posters like that. So if they see something, they can come over here and see if they can identify it and name it. I want them to be able to see an animal outside in our backyard or in the park and be able to name it. Over here is what I call our unit study shelf. And so here is things that I do with all of my children together. Whatever I want them to learn as a whole for that month, for those 2 weeks, for whatever it is, I have it here. So here we're focusing on health and nutrition. So we have food groups. We have books about nutrition. I'll link any of these resources below because they're really great. And I have different cards that they have to categorize into different food groups, whether they're vegetables, fruits, grains, and sweets. Here's another book about whole foods is better. And then here is our poem book. And every month I portray a poem for the children, and they're able to see the beautiful illustration for the poem of the month. And I'll also link that below for you guys. Then at the bottom, I also have just things that I want all the children to learn. So we're still working on shoe tying. These are our books, whatever we're doing this month. We have notebooks and interactive pages that go along with it. Over here is a box with the things that I want the children to memorize. It's a little memory box. Whether it's their birthdays, addresses, all the basic things that I want them to memorize is in there. And I go over it with each child. Then these are just things that we have been going over and that we're going to be continuing to go over this month. So this is our unit study shelf, and it's just basically all the things that I want my children to be doing this month. As you can see there, I have a thesaurus and a dictionary because we're focusing on thesaurus and dictionary skills and finding words and things like that. And so that's why I have those there. Everything there has a purpose. We're focusing on countries and stuff like that. So that's why those things are there. So now let's move over here to the 3 children that I have that are older, that are, they're 10, 6, and almost 8. And so 10, 6, and 8. And this is their desk. Each of them has their own little area. As you can see, I have magazine holders for their curriculum, and this serves as a barrier as well, where they can look over and they can focus on their work, because sometimes sitting so close together can be disruptive. And so this has been helpful to be able to put it like this for this year so that they can focus more on their work and on their areas. And so each child really makes their area their own, and they have a little board at the top where they could put their drawings. And I like their books. I also have their school list. So this school list is basically telling them what they have to do every day. On some weeks they only have to do the subject 2 times. And so it just depends what day of the week it is and what they have to do. So they have to go and check this off as they go, and then let me know when they are done, for those of them that work by themselves. So this is a little drawer that they all have at the bottom with their read aloud baskets. They have their own independent read aloud baskets, and I did make a video on how I do independent reading time, and I will link that below so that you can see what they have in the basket and how I track their reading and log their reading every month. All right, so this is my 7-year-old's desk. This is my 6-year-old's desk, and so she also has her list. She has her things on her desk, her basket with her read alouds. And this is my oldest desk, and she also has her list. She has her books and her basket at the bottom. And so what I do is I have them start doing their independent work first thing in the morning, and then I rotate, just watching to see that they're finishing their work, that they're doing what they have to do. And then as the day goes by, I will pull each of them one by one to work with me here, so we can work together on their work and correcting their work as well. So over here we have a storage unit, and this is an Ikea storage unit where I keep, here on this side I have the printer, some flashcards, our paper, construction paper, some coloring books. Then on this side, I keep all our curriculum that we're using, and I have them divided into different boxes. These are all our family subjects that we're doing together, and I have made a video of it, and I'll link it below in the description box if you want to see it. So we have our literature books that we're reading this year. We have our history and geography. We have our science and nature study, our electives. We have our faith and character, and we have Spanish. Here we have our maps for geography. At the top, we have our preschool work. If you guys want to know what I'm using for preschool, please let me know in the comments. Then over here, we have our binders for morning time, and each of my children have their morning time binders, and I'm going to be linking below a video where I show inside how that looks like. On the top, we just have different pencils and utensils that we use. Over there, we have our headphones for our e-learning and our classes that we do online. Then over here we have a keyboard for my oldest, who is playing the piano, and here we have her piano books as well. Then my two other children are learning violin, and they play those at their desks, and they have their violins over there by their desks. So just to mention again, the desks are from Ikea. They're height adjustable so that it can grow with the child. The chairs are also height adjustable. I'm going to try to find a link for you guys in the description below the video. I like it because you can use the same desks until the children are 18 years old. So it's really something that you don't have to be changing out unless it really breaks down on you. And so this is our homeschool room in a nutshell. Very simple. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to have a room like this to do your homeschool, but I do find useful that each child has their own learning area, because having their own dedicated space that they make their own, it really gives them autonomy, and also it helps them to concentrate and focus, that when they're going to sit down to do work, it's time to do work. And it just makes their studies a little bit more serious. And you don't have to have this. You can have the same spot on the dining table that they always sit at, with their little basket right underneath there or nearby there. And I've done that in the past as well. And I'm sure you can find those videos on my channel. But I really have found helpful to be able to have a dedicated space for their school and for their work. And sometimes they even just come here just to be in their own little space. They love it, just to color and just relax and read. And they love being here. I made it into a space that they really love being in, and we all love it. We all love all the different areas that we have here. I hope you have enjoyed the video. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. I make videos about homeschooling, homemaking, education, which is my hobby and my passion. Anything that I mentioned in the video is going to be linked below in the description box, so that you know where to find these things. Until the next time, bye-bye.